I want to tell you a story that still unsettles me to this day. It's not a ghost story. It's not a tale of horror or fantasy. It's something far more real. A story about a woman named Sylvia Browne, a woman who claimed to know what comes after this life ends. Not in theory, not in faith, but because she believed she had been there. Multiple times. And before you dismiss her as just another self-proclaimed psychic, let me say this, I thought the same. For a long time. But the more I learned about her, the more I realized something. Sylvia wasn't just another medium giving comfort to grieving people. She was a woman who had seen something she never fully recovered from. And whether she was right or wrong what she described about the afterlife, it chills me. Not because it's terrifying, but because it's so strangely familiar. Sylvia claimed that she had memories of the afterlife from as far back as she could remember. As a child, she would go into these silent trances, staring off into something no one else could see. Her family was religious. They thought it was demonic or dangerous. But Sylvia insisted she wasn't hallucinating. She was just remembering. According to her, the moment we die is not chaotic or painful. It's not even dramatic. It's quiet, peaceful, like slipping into a warm bath after a lifetime in the cold. She described it as lifting out of your body, but not floating aimlessly, instead, moving purposefully towards something you instinctively know. And then you see them. The ones who've been waiting. People you loved. People you forgot. Sometimes even people you never knew in this life, but you recognize them, like an ancient reunion. That was the part that stayed with me. That idea, that we already know what comes after. We've just forgotten. But it gets deeper. Sylvia didn't describe heaven like a reward. She didn't talk about harps or judgment or golden gates. She described the other side as a full, functioning world. She said it's more real than Earth. There are buildings, forests, schools, labs, oceans, but they shimmer in a way our eyes can't perceive here. The colors, she said, are beyond the human spectrum. The air itself hums with life. And yet, nothing weighs you down. She claimed souls choose what age they appear, often in the prime of their life. No illness. No scars. Just the essence of who they were at their best. They're not perfect, but they're whole. People continue growing there. Studying. Creating. Building. Some work in what she called halls of healing. Others act as guides, helping new arrivals. She even said animals go there, that every pet you've loved, every creature that's bonded with you, waits for you there. But she didn't sugarcoat it. Sylvia believed not everyone goes directly there. Some people get lost. Not because they're evil, but because they can't let go. They die angry, or afraid, or in denial. She called these spirits earthbound. They stay close to familiar places, homes, hospitals, graveyards, unable or unwilling to cross. And the tragedy, she said, is that they're not being punished. They're punishing themselves. Stuck in a cycle of confusion, waiting for something they don't even understand. She claimed to have encountered many of them. Not through rituals, but through empathy. She'd walk into old buildings and feel a soul clinging to the past. And she would speak to them, out loud, not demanding they leave, but reminding them that peace was waiting. That they didn't have to be afraid. And some, she said, finally let go. But others, never do. There's something about that idea that shakes me. That death is not a gateway, but a choice. That some of us might be too wounded, too stubborn, or too scared to move forward. What if the greatest fear isn't death, but what we might see afterward? Sylvia also believed we come here with a plan. She called it the soul contract. That before we're born, we agree to certain experiences, joy, heartbreak, success, even loss, all chosen as tools for our growth. Not fate, not punishment, but evolution. That every person we meet, every love, every betrayal, was already written. Not to trap us, but to teach us. She said this earth is a kind of school. A dense, heavy place where lessons are accelerated. Where pain teaches faster than joy. Where you forget who you are so that when you remember, it means something. That hit me hard. Because how many times have we asked, why me? Why this pain? And what if the answer is, because you asked for it? Not as punishment, but as a means to become more than you were. But perhaps the most haunting part of Sylvia's story was what she said about the life review. The moment after death when you see your entire life played back. Not as a movie, but as a feeling. Every moment you caused pain, you feel the hurt you gave. Every moment of kindness, you feel the love you spread. Not to judge you, but to teach you. There's no hellfire, no devil. Just truth. And truth, she said, is the most powerful force in the universe. Now here's where it gets even more intense. Sylvia claimed that souls could choose to return. Reincarnation, she said, is real, but it's not random. It's intentional. Some come back to finish what they started. Others to help someone else. She believed we often reincarnate in groups, soul families, meeting again and again in different forms, learning from one another across lifetimes. Ever feel like you've known someone forever after just one meeting? She believed that's not imagination. That's memory bleeding through. And then there's the silence. Sylvia said there's a realm between lives, a stillness where the soul rests. It's neither dark nor light. It's pure peace. Time doesn't exist there. You're not aware of your body or your name. Just presence. It's there, she said, that your soul meets with guides, with higher beings, and you decide what comes next. Not based on guilt, but based on where your soul wants to go. And when you're ready, you begin again. She didn't ask people to worship these ideas. In fact, she often told people to question her. She knew her visions were strange, sometimes frightening, sometimes too hopeful. But she always said, trust what feels true in your gut. Not what you're told. Not what you're afraid of. What feels real. And maybe that's the real power of Sylvia Browne's story. Not that she saw the afterlife, but that she made it feel real enough to imagine. That she gave people a map when they felt lost. That she reminded us, maybe the end isn't the end. Maybe it's the moment we wake up. I don't know what's waiting for me after this life. I don't think anyone does. But if Sylvia was even half right, if even part of what she saw is true, then death isn't the terrifying unknown we've been taught to fear. It's just the next room, the next step, the return home. And maybe, just maybe, someone's already waiting for us there.